What's up, everybody? New layout, so we're much bigger on your screen. You don't have to squint to see who we are. I am John Maher from Why We Live Horror. That is Hunter Chambless from Welcome to Primetime and the Nerd Entertainment Network. We are live on TikTok, YouTube, X, and Facebook right now. Hunter, how are you feeling today?
I am doing fantastic. We missed last week due to unforeseen circumstances on my end, but we are back with horror headlines for this week and last week, so I cannot wait to get into it. How are you doing, John?
Good, I'm glad. Yeah, missed you last week, man. Too bad, but it doesn't matter. It just means there's more news piling up for us to talk about. If you're out there, if you can like the live, if you can share the live, if you can comment on the Facebook, comment on the X, comment on YouTube, do whatever. Interact with us. We'll pull your comments up if we can, and we will respond to you on TikTok. But we don't need to mince words. What's going on today in the world? While I pull up TikTok on my phone, and
we've got six news stories for the day, and we start with the biggest news that came out yesterday, again from bloodydisgusting.com. So let's go ahead and bring this up. Oops, not edit screen name. There we go. Yes, Mike Flanagan is in talk, or is set to write and direct an all-new Exorcist movie for Blumhouse Studios. So, as you guys know, a few weeks ago we did talk about him being in talks to direct. Now it's official. So, Mike Flanagan is set to write, direct, and produce the next Exorcist film for Blumhouse and Universal, but don't expect a sequel to 2023's Exorcist Believer, as Flanagan said he will offer a radical new take on the Exorcist franchise. The new film will tell an all-new story set in the Exorcist universe and is not a sequel to David Gordon Green's The Exorcist Believer. Plans for that trilogy are no longer moving forward. Flanagan said in a statement, let me go ahead and bring that up real quick, The Exorcist is one of the reasons I became a filmmaker, and it's an honor to have the chance to try something fresh, bold, and terrifying within its universe. Reuniting with my friends at Blumhouse, with whom I've made some of my favorite pieces of work, only makes this more exciting. So, John, thoughts on it being official? Mike Flanagan set to write and direct an all-new Exorcist film for Blumhouse.
I think it's extremely exciting that Mike Flanagan is here. However, I'm going to say what I always say, because now we're in like a WrestleMania 3 moment, right? Like, I guess Blumhouse is Andre the Giant. Mike Flanagan is Hulk Hogan. Everything Andre touches, gets destroyed. Everything Hogan touches, everyone loves. Will Mike Flanagan make his first horrible movie because he's being produced by Blumhouse? Or will Blumhouse make their first great movie because they decided to hitch their wagon to Mike Flanagan? Remains to be seen. What's your opinion on that? On it?
This isn't the first Mike Flanagan movie where he's working under Blumhouse. I believe, let me look it up just to be sure what movies it is, but he does have a lot of hits under the Blumhouse umbrella.
True that, but not in this modern run of Blumhouse where the last good movie they made. I think Hush and Oculus might have both been Blumhouse, but that's like back in the day. We're talking.
And also, Ouija Origin of Evil as well.
Yeah, so we know historically he has not been affected by that. But I think back in that day in Blumhouse, there were still other movies that Blumhouse were making that were good. In the last 12 months, they have just put out like steaming pile of shit after steaming pile of shit, with the exception of Totally Killer and The Passenger, which did not get theatrical releases. So
nope.
But no matter what Flanagan does, it's going to get a theatrical release. We're coming on the tail of Dr. Sleep. He is attached to life with Chuck. Like, so he's going to get, he's got a ton of momentum behind him. Will Blumhouse interfere to the point that this is a bad movie?
I don't think they will, because they learned from Exorcist Believer. I think, I would hope that Jason Blum is going to give Mike Flanagan total freedom of this movie, because they saw what studio interference can do with David Gordon Green and Exorcist Believer. And this is not a Blumhouse movie where they're betting on a new director, or they're betting on someone who may have not had greatest credits, but they can make it for cheap. This is Mike Flanagan we're talking about. The only thing I'm afraid of is that because everybody hates The Exorcist Believer, that might affect people going to see this new one, because Mike Flanagan is a well-known name in the horror community, but not a lot of people outside of that knows. They've heard the name and they may have seen some properties from him, but I think Dr. Sleep is.
I think a lot of people have seen Dr. Sleep. I think a lot
Yeah.
of people have seen Dr. Sleep. Is Mike Flanagan like Spielberg level recognition? No, I'm not delusional. But like, you know, but he has enough recognition, at least from Dr. Sleep. If we're because I don't think common people have seen Hush or Oculus, or we definitely haven't seen Ouija or Evil. But I think a lot of people love Stephen King and saw Dr. Sleep. They recognize Flanagan's name from that. So I think he definitely has more name recognition than David Gordon Green. So attaching him to Exorcist is going to pull people back to the property. Yeah, and of course, and Tyler's commenting here on the TikTok, all of his Netflix. Yeah, we're kind of disregarding all the Netflix properties. I think a lot of people know him from his Netflix shows as well.
Yeah,
a lot of people know him from Hill House and Bly Manor and Fall House of Usher and Midnight Mass. So if we're going to do anything with the Exorcist franchise, Flanagan is probably your go-to dude. Outside of
100%.
Huge names, outside of huge names like John
100%. And the one reason technically two reasons. One, I'm a huge fan of Mike Flanagan just in general, but seeing what he did with Midnight Mass, taking this vampire story and using it as a talk of like religion and religious trauma and, you know, the battle of good versus evil. That's what The Exorcist is all about, the battle of good versus evil and the religious undertones. If he brings that to the Exorcist franchise, that could be perfect.
Tyler's bringing up a good point in the chat here. He's saying like maybe a week opening box office so that word of mouth will spread and then he'll get a really good second weekend in the box office. Do we have a release date set for this movie yet, or is it still
we don't even have a title. We don't know what they're doing. We just know that Mike Flanagan is set to write, direct, and produce, which gets me excited because he's an actual producer on this film.
Well, I feel like he has safeguarded himself as much as a human being can against this legitimate like Blumhouse curse that is going on. So yeah, I have faith in Mike Flanagan, and Mike Flanagan we trust. It's a known property. He's proven he can do possession movies, supernatural movies. He's got an eye for cinematography. He's got an eye for effects.
Oh yeah, he does.
He's got an eye for casting great talent. Let's just go. I mean, like,
I'm also really excited that he's a writer for this because his scripts are always very tight, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Sorry about interrupting you, John.
So I don't know what else we can say about this. Like, it's going to remain to be seen. I'm sure as we go on throughout the years, we're going to get more and more news coming out about the production of this. So I'm excited to see what other news spills out about this while we're waiting for the movie to come out. I imagine they're going to let Mike cook. They're not going to force him to produce this movie like it's a Jagged Edge film. Like he'll have time to make a good movie. I see this probably shooting for months. So let's just see what happens. I'm willing to wait for this movie.
Oh, I am too. All right, so yeah, there's really nothing we can talk about right now other than our excitement for this.
Yeah, Tyler's asking, have we seen Made in Abyss? I have not seen Made in Abyss. I'm not even familiar with what that is. If you want to shoot me a message, let me know what that is. I'd be happy to be caught up on that for next week for you.
Definitely for me as well.
Yeah, I think that's probably what we're going to get out of this Mike Flanagan news story. What's the second news story we got? And while he's pulling that up, I am John Maher from Wyoming Par. That's Hunter Chambless from Welcome to Primetime, the Nerd Entertainment Network. This is your horror headlines for the week of May 30th. We got a bunch of live viewers on YouTube, I can see, and we got people in the chat here on TikTok. All right, cool. Tyler will message me about it, and we're going to report back next week if it's something coming up. If it's something in the world of news, we'll talk about it. What's the second headline we got this week, Hunter?
I'm very excited for this one. Mahershala Ali is in talks to join the Jurassic World franchise. Again, from BladeDiscussing.com. The next installment in the Jurassic World franchise continues to build its main cast, with The Hollywood Reporter reporting today that Mahershala Ali is now in talks. The cast includes Scarlett Johansson, Manuel Garcia Ruffalo, Rupert Friend, and Jonathan Bailey are also on board to star. Gareth Edwards will be directing this new installment, with the original Jurassic Park writer David Kump returning to write the screenplay. Jurassic World returns to theaters on July 2nd, 2025. So, John, thoughts on the cast of this? Gareth Edwards directing and Mahershala Ali in talks to join this movie.
We know from Gareth Edwards. Thanks, Tyler. Thanks for jumping in. We know from Gareth Edwards' filmography that his bread and butter is creature features, like going all the way back to Monsters, which is criminally underseen, made for only $500,000, and like an incredible creature feature film. Probably the reason why he's gotten all the work he's gotten since. So I think putting him in. Hey, Brock's here too. Brock, thank you for sharing the live. We appreciate it. I think putting him in the driver's seat for Jurassic Park franchise is great. Obviously, Mahershala Ali with his pedigree and all of the awards he's won, he's a win no matter what. He could read the phone book and it'll probably be a great movie. I think a lot of people were kind of upset. They think it's going to take him away from the MCU. I think he'll do both. But yeah, I mean, Mahershala Ali is a great get. His first name is starts with my last name, so he's got to be a cool dude.
That's true. I'm excited because one, you said that Gareth Edwards, he's really good at creature features, which I agree. I know a lot of people didn't like Godzilla 2014. I thought it was okay, but the great thing he did in that movie was he made Godzilla feel larger than life with the camera panning and things like that. The cinematography was incredible. So if he can do that on a scale of dinosaurs with Jurassic World, that gets me excited. I think Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, like this cast is really good. But it's anchored by these mega stars, but you've also got some really good, not so well-known names that could get a boost in popularity because of this franchise, which I think is really, really cool. I love that the original writer of Jurassic Park is coming back because I think that's what's been missing in the Jurassic World franchise is kind of a tight-end element to the original, the tight script, the wonder, the kind of the awe-inspiring nature of Jurassic Park. So this could be a really, really great movie if done correctly. I think you have a great director, a great writer, and you have a stellar cast right now.
Yeah, I mean, and it's obviously a proven franchise. I don't think any Jurassic Park World, whatever they're going to go on to next, movie has underperformed at the box office. I know we're kind of getting into a weird arc with like high budget movies risking it all. Like, obviously in the last year we had The Marvels was an MCU movie that underperformed, lost a ton of money at the box office. There's the trend of people going to movies less. So you're going to kind of have to temper the budget in the hopes that you're going to make it back. But as far as I know, the Jurassic franchise in general has been a moneymaker regardless, but I would caution, who am I to caution production studios? But beware, don't go too nuts, guys.
Exactly. I think the problem is you've got studios in that 2019 mindset of like, oh, we can make movies for $300-400 million and it's always going to make a profit. I think studios have to adjust their budgets with a post-pandemic world where it's like maybe don't spend $400 million on a movie, maybe spend $100 million so you can make your money back.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So what's our before you go on to the third headline? I am John Maher from Mother of Horror, and that is Hunter Chambless from Welcome to Primetime on the Internet Entertainment Network. This is your horror headlines for the week of May 30th. We got 6 headlines coming in tonight, so let's move on to the third headline. What do we got going on now, Hunter?
All right. This one is very interesting. It's another Blumhouse news article. Blumhouse Studios is bringing back the My Bloody Valentine franchise. This comes from BloodyDisgusting.com. Let me go ahead and bring it down so I can read it. It says, released in 1981, the original Canadian slasher My Bloody Valentine spawned a Hollywood remake, My Bloody Valentine 3D in 2009. But now it's been 15 years since we heard a peep from the franchise about a sadistic and bloodthirsty miner with a pickaxe to grind. But as the ballad of Henry Warden once told us, it's a curse that will live on and on. And the My Bloody Valentine franchise does indeed plan to live on, as Bloody Disgusting has exclusively learned that Blumhouse is developing a brand new My Bloody Valentine movie. So there's not any updates on it, just that Blumhouse is bringing back the franchise. So, John, thoughts on Blumhouse bringing back this franchise? for another movie.
I'm gonna like pause and say like My Bloody Valentine is not a franchise yet. It's a movie, and that movie was remade. It's the same movie. So it's not I believe a franchise. If I'm going to like really split hairs,
3 movies or more.
Give me at least 2 movies with some continuation. I prefer 3 to call it a franchise. So
That's
if franchise are Blumhouse's words, let's just chalk that up to another thing Blumhouse does incorrectly. If they're planning on giving us 3 My Bloody Valentine movies, like,
oh my God, don't do that.
I don't know if that was ever asked for. I'll watch them. But
I'm so sick of them doing announcing 3 movies.
Yeah. Give me one good, like, I'm gonna say like neither of the My Bloody Valentines were movies that were like so, like, left me wanting anything where I'm like, oh, I wish they had done more with this. I mean, like, we had the original, which is a slasher classic. Like, it's up there. I'm not gonna say it's under heralded or under talked about. I think it is talked about. It's just kind of buried in the fact that there's just one movie. It's like that and The Burning and The Prowler and Prom Night. Like, you know, they're single entries. Yeah. The remake, and it was a remake, was a 3D movie, had that gimmick in it, and it was cool. So what are we doing? Are we just going to retell the whole story again? And it's like Black Christmas. Like, so we got a Black Christmas remake, and then we're going to get another Black Christmas remake. It becomes like a Jeepers Creepers thing. Like every 23 years, we release the same movie. Like I need to know more. Like, I'm happy, I guess, to have a My Bloody Valentine movie, sure, but like, what's the hook? Like, literally, what's the hook?
What's the hook for this movie?
What's the pickaxe for this movie? Is what I want to know. I don't know. Like, I'll watch it. Like, if you remake a movie, whatever, I'll go watch it. But like, it's not going to feel special unless there's something special happening.
Yeah, so one correction I want to make, John. Prom Night is at least 3 movies, so that can be counted as a franchise.
Yeah, Prom Night's actually 5 movies. So I guess
there's 5?
Well, there's 4 and a remake. The 4th one was
I did not realize that they made 4 original movies.
Yeah, you got the Jamie Lee Curtis, you got the 2 Mary Lou's, 2 and 3. Number 4 is Deliver Us from Evil, about a priest that's killing people. I think they just kind of slapped the Prom Night tag on that, and then the remake with Brittany Snow. Yeah, okay, but I can say they definitely didn't make a remake of The Prowler or Happy Birthday to Me or April Fool's Day. They did make a remake of April Fool's Day. Never mind. But Happy Birthday to Me, Mutilator, Edge of the Axe. There's tons
Bloody
of
Birthday.
There. Yeah, Pieces. All these things. They haven't remade those yet, but we're gonna get a second remake of My Bloody Valentine. So say it for.
Oh man, that's all right. Can't really say that much. Let's move on to our 4th topic.
While he's pulling that up, I am John Maher from Marla Parr, and that is Hunter Chambless from Welcome to Primetime. You're watching Horror Headlines for the week of May 30th. We're going on our 4th headline of the night. Hunter, what are we doing?
All right, let's bring it up from Bloody Disgusting. There is a new movie called A Sacrifice starring Sadie Sink and Eric Bana. This comes from BloodyDisgusting.com. Let me go ahead and bring it down. I watched this trailer today. Inspired by Nicholas Hodge's 2015 novel Tokyo Nobody, a thriller, A Sacrifice starring Sadie Sink is on the way from Vertical, and the official trailer has arrived. From director Jordan Scott, the film releases on June 28th, 2024. A Sacrifice is an emotionally turbulent story that follows American social psychologist Ben Moreau, who is investigating a local Berlin cult connected to disturbing events. While he immerses himself in his work, his rebellious teenage daughter, Mazzy, becomes embroiled with a mysterious local boy who introduces her to the city's underground party scene as their 2 worlds head towards a dangerous intersection. There we go. Ben will need to race against the clock in order to save his daughter. So, John, thoughts on the trailer for A Sacrifice?
I think I've said this 3 horror headlines in a row. Vertical Entertainment, an unproven production company. A lot of their movies are not good. Though Sadie Sink doesn't miss. I love Sadie Sink. Eric Bana, also a good name. I don't know what he's done recently, but I mean, he's even done horror movies. I believe he's in Deliver Us from Evil. So like he's been in the field. So you've got the bones of a good movie here. The plot does sound derivative of 2000 Suicide Club, but that's a J horror movie. We haven't had an English language remake of Suicide Club, so I'm willing to give it a shot. Let's see what the English version of Suicide Club looks like, because that movie is weird.
So yeah, I watched the trailer, and I gotta admit, I got hooked. I like the idea of, not really a slasher. It's just kind of, crime thriller that, I love kind of, Heaven's Gate, like learning about different cults and things like that. That I just find that interesting. Like people who will follow one person for one particular reason. I find that very interesting. The trailer, I know some people said that the trailer gave away the whole movie. I didn't feel that way. I mean, what the premise of the movie is going to be, and the trailer showed you the premise of that movie. But I don't think it really showed too much. Like, it didn't show the ending or anything like that. But I won't know until I see it.
I think that's a big complaint a lot of people have, is it's either they'll say that, well, the trailer gave away a ton of the movie, and that happens. I guess it happened in Abigail a little bit. Whatever, but there's still tons of stuff that wasn't in the movie. Or they see things in the trailer and they know what to expect in the movie, and then they go and watch the movie and they complain about the things they saw in the trailer for free, and now they're pissed that they spent money, even though they knew damn well what was happening in that movie. And I'm looking at you, all you people who are currently shitting on In a Violent Nature. I see you. You knew what that movie was about.
John is angry with all of you.
I am angry with anyone who's giving that movie negative reviews. You knew exactly what it was going into it.
So to me, I like these kind of thrillers. I like, mysteries and things like that. I feel like the trailer didn't show that much. It gave me enough to be like, oh, Eric Bana, Sadie Sink. I'm into it because of them and the premise. I'll definitely be checking out. I don't know what Vertical Pictures has done movie-wise, and I don't know if I've seen it.
Your homework for next week is to go through filmography. Don't watch it. But you'll see. You'll see exactly. I don't think the last few weeks you've been mentioning Vertical Entertainment, and it seems like they're doing better projects. Mm-hmm. So maybe they just had their stumbling blocks. They did a few they're not Jagged Edge bad. Don't get me wrong. But they're like the American version of Jagged Edge, stepped up slightly. They've done a few things. Let's say that. So maybe they needed to get those out of the way. Maybe they needed to shoot off those blanks before they got to the live round, and we're here. So again, like I say every time you bring up a movie, I'm gonna watch it no matter what. But I reserve the right to complain and be doubtful beforehand.
That is fair. So yeah, I mean, I think the trailer looks really good. I can't wait to see the movie. I don't know what Eric Bana has done recently. I think the last thing I saw him in was Deliver Us from Evil. I thought he was okay in that one. He's always been like a very underrated actor, in my opinion. Like people don't give him enough credit. He was the Hulk, yeah. People don't give him enough credit, but I think it's because he doesn't do a lot of big movies. But he's surprisingly a really great actor.
Oh yeah. I believe he's Australian, right? So he probably know he could have just gone back to do Australian stuff, which happens. So maybe that's
he was fantastic in Troy.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, that's enough about a movie we know nothing about. I'm John Maher. That's under Chambless from Welcome to Primetime. What's our fifth headline tonight?
All right, let me go ahead and bring up our fifth headline. So again from BladeDiscussing.com, the possession of Gladstone Manor. Let me go ahead and bring. Boop. There we go. Bam. Starring Barbara Crampton and Lynn Shay.
All right.
Those are two names that I'm always excited for when it comes to horror. Umbrella Entertainment has announced the upcoming horror movie The Possession at Gladstone Manor, which will be wrapping up production later this week. The film's cast include Kaylee Cohen, Jesse Metcalf, Charlotte Kirk, Darren Weiss, Barbara Crampton, William Metaphor, and Lynn Shay. In The Possession of Gladstone Manor,
William
when Jamie Black discovers her. Is he really?
Yeah. That's actually Tom Cruise's actual last name.
I did not know that.
He's Thomas Mapother IV. And William Mapother, you might remember from Lost. He was one of the others in Lost. You'll know him if you see. He's a character actor. You know him if you've seen him. He's been in 100 things. but they're cousins. Yes, I can tell you that much. That's some movie trivia for you out there.
That is awesome. But when Jamie Black discovers her mother has gone missing, she resolves to investigate by applying for the same job her mother held at Gladstone Manor. Jamie soon finds evidence that her mother isn't the only missing person and that she may be dealing with sinister forces beyond this world. So, thoughts on the possession of Gladstone Manor with Barbara Crampton and Lynn Shay?
I gotta say, I can't say everything in Lynn Shay's filmography is fantastic, and I can't say everything in Barbara Crampton's filmography is fantastic. However, in recent years, we know Lynn Shay got herself attached to the Insidious franchise. Awesome. Barbara Crampton was in Your Next. She was in Suitable Flesh. She's showing up too. Yeah, Terrifier 2. She's showing up everywhere too. I think we're at this renaissance period with these two ladies where like you can attach them to a movie. And actually, the supporting cast you mentioned, there's some good names in there. Like I said, William Apother, we talked about, Jesse Metcalf from Desperate Housewives, for all you ladies out there. Yeah.
And also John Tucker Must Die, apparently.
Yeah, he's John Tucker from John Tucker Must Die. So, yeah, I mean, like, I've never heard of that movie. It's one of the 1,000 movies that start with the words "the possession of." So I'm kind of turned off.
Yep.
Couldn't think of a different title of the movie. Maybe workshop a better hook title. But like, Hunter, what do I always say? I'm gonna watch it anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. I'm not gonna. Oh, I'm happy to see Lynn Shay and Barbara Crampton get work because they get work. So like, but I'm happy to always like support them.
Mm-hmm.
Support your classic scream queens and the supporting ladies. Lynn Shay was never a scream queen, I don't think, but she always showed up in movies. Let's put it yeah, Barbara Crampton more on the scream queen side.
Oh yeah, so that's kind of the reason why I wanted to bring this up is that we don't know a lot about this movie. We do know kind of the plot summary, but we haven't had a trailer for it. But I mean, a movie with Barbara Crampton and Lynn Shay in the same movie is freaking awesome. I love both of them. I think Lynn Shay is incredible in the Insidious franchise. Barbara Crampton, I've been a huge fan of for the past 5 years since I saw her in Chopping Mall the first time.
Yeah.
And then, I've seen her in Your Next. I've seen her in Terrifier 2. She has a YouTube channel now with James H. Denise from Dead Meat, which is fucking cool. That's where cool. They like talk with like horror directors and like people in the industry. Check out that podcast. It's called Scream Dreams. But yeah, just them two together are going to be, especially Lynn Shay. Lynn Shay always delivers in these like horror, possession type movies. So I'm super excited to see what she does in this one.
Yeah, Lynn Shay, the best part of 2001 Maniacs. There, I said it. Outshining Robert Englund in that movie. But that's probably all we can say about a movie we don't know much about. But like I said, as we get closer, I'm sure there'll be other articles. We'll book note that we talked about this movie. So if it comes up again, you'll hear it again in horror headlines. I think we're on our final headline of the evening, Hunter. So while you're pulling that up, I am John Maher.
We are.
That's Hunter Chambless from the Nerd Entertainment Network, and welcome to Primetime. What's our final headline of the evening?
All right, our final topic is the big one in my opinion, A24's The Front Room. Is this popping up? Can you guys see it?
Yeah, we see it.
It is. Oh, yeah, yes. The Front Room, A24 horror movie from the Egger brothers, releasing in September.
Oh, so they're not. So it's
Randy
not Robert
Norwood
Egger.
from
It's Robert Egger. It's Robert Egger's two brothers. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, Max and Sam. Yes.
Yeah.
Brandy Norwood from I Still Know What You Did Last Summer will return to horror in the upcoming A24 movie The Front Room, and the film has been given a release date today. A24 will release The Front Room in theaters on September 6, 2024. What's particularly interesting about the psychological horror movie is that it's being directed by Max and Sam Eggers, brothers of Robert Eggers, The Witch and the Northman. This will be the debut feature for the Egger brothers. Variety has reported they adapted the screenplay from Susan Hill's short story of the same name. In the film follows a young, newly pregnant couple forced to take in an ailing stepmother who has long been estranged from the family. Oliver award-winning actresses Catherine Hunter, Tony Award-winning actor Andrew Burnap, and Neil Huff will also star. So, thoughts on The Front Room with Brandy, directed by the Egger brothers?
A24, that's really all I guess you need to say. I mean, it's going to be good, I hope. I mean, what's the worst A24 horror movie? Tusk? Slice? One of those
Probably
yeah,
Tusk.
If that's like your bar, like it's still not a bad movie in my opinion. So
Tusk is still fun.
That's an old A24 horror movie. You look at the recent string of A24 horror movies, including they just came out with I Saw the TV Glow, which you could make a case. You could make a case is the best horror movie of the year. I'm not going to say it's my opinion.
I gotta watch that.
Aaron feels that way, and you can make a case for it because it's important. A24 takes elevated horror movies and tells important stories. So I don't know much more than what you told me about this movie, other than Brandy's in it, but whatever, Brandy. But I mean, it's A24. I don't think they would greenlight something that's garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the Eggers brothers who all worked with Robert on his movies. So they must know what they're doing. So again, I'm definitely going to watch this movie. It's definitely going to get a wide release. So we're going to see it.
Yeah. I'll say this, and I may get some hate for this. A24 is doing horror way better than Blumhouse has been doing horror in the past, even at the height of Blumhouse.
No one disagrees with you. What hate are you going to get? Do you know a Blumhouse employee or something? No one's going to hate you for saying that. Like the only production company that's even like close to A24 is like Neon right now.
Yes, Neon is great.
I think you could have like there's other great smaller production companies like XYZ Magnet and RLJE that are putting out good movies, but nothing at the rate of A24 and Neon. Like absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for one. A24 is one of my favorite, studios working today. I don't think their non-horror stuff I think hits most of the time, but their horror stuff really hits. I think Brandy did really well in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I think she was fun, energetic.
Huh? That was a long time ago. Were you even born?
Yes, it was. When did that come out? 96?
I would say it was like 98 or 99 that came out.
I was either just born or 1 year old.
Okay. That's how long ago Brandy was in that movie. Just want you to know. You've lived your entire life.
I went back and watched it recently because I'm doing like a rewatch of the series. And I think, she brings this kind of fun energy to the movie. But also, if she's being cast in this movie, then the Egger brothers must have seen something in her audition that warranted her getting the lead.
Well, she's also being cast as a mom now. She's like mom age. She's not co-ed age that she wasn't. I Still did last summer. So it is a far different look for Brandy at this point.
Yeah. And also, I mean, this is the Egger brothers, directorial debut. But as you said, they worked under Robert Eggers for a lot of his movies. And Robert Eggers, I don't think has missed. I mean, The Witch is great.
He's 3 for 3. And I imagine Nosferatu is going to like rock.
Oh, dude. If he can hit Nosferatu and be 4 for 4, he is going to do like fantastic work later on in his career.
Yeah.
Because like, I think The Witch might be my second favorite, my favorite horror movie of his, second favorite movie because The Northman is not really horror. I think The Northman is like his best movie.
I would agree. I would agree with that. I think a lot of people think The Lighthouse is better, but like if somebody told me
I love The Lighthouse too.
Yeah. I think if somebody told me I like The Witch better than The Lighthouse, I wouldn't argue with them because like it's like that's like a taste thing. But The Lighthouse is to me I like better than The Witch, but I like both. I don't dislike any of them.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very excited for this. There's not really much we can talk about. I do like the premise of like them bringing in this, ailing stepmother that they didn't know. Like it gives just enough to be like, all right, what is she doing here? Why was she gone from the family for so long? And this could be more like a thriller than, straight horror movie. So it's just time we'll see, especially when we see the trailer, what we're going to get from them. But yeah, I'm super hyped because, A24 almost never misses. The Egger brothers have worked with Robert before, so they have that, that experience on a set. So I'm super excited to see what they do.
Yeah. And that's all 6 of the headlines we got tonight. Nobody's really live in the chat now. We got a good amount of people coming in and out. I know we got 10 people watching, I think, on YouTube or elsewhere. Are there anything coming through the comments, Hunter, that we got?
Not that I can see.
All right. Well, we will hang out for a little while longer, and then we'll probably cut this down. But if you stuck with us the whole time on YouTube, we appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. I am John Maher from Horror, and that is Hunter Chambless from Welcome to Primetime. And this has been Horror Headlines. So what I'm going to do is we're gonna run that sweet outro, and then we're gonna hang out for a little bit. So we'll do an end to Horror Headlines. We'll hang out for a little bit. Go ahead, Hunter.